Earning the best games on the Steam platform is always one of the hottest topics of discussion in the gaming community. And so today, I will tell you how much the best games earned in March 2023. If you are interested in the state of the gaming industry and want to know which projects have become real bestsellers, then you have come to the right place. It is important to remember that the popularity and earnings of a game can depend on many factors, including the number of reviews and player ratings. Interestingly, the games that are not included in the top can also be of high quality and worthy of attention, they just have fewer reviews. This is Be Indie, thanks for the like and enjoy watching. Undead Horde 2. Necropolis again offers the player the role of a necromancer. He is given the opportunity to directly control the King of the Dead and lead his inanimate army. The game combines several genres. There are elements of hack and slash, RTS and RPG. The player will have to fight with the living. Killed opponents he can resurrect and enslave. Thus, the Lord of Evil Spirits replenishes his army with each victory. In total, there are 100 varieties of creatures in this game. Among them are infantry, cavalry, and other types of units. They can be strengthened, like the protagonist, with the help of powerful items. These artifacts are usually stored in chests scattered throughout the locations. Horde of the Undead 2. Necropolis differs from the previous part with slightly improved graphics, slightly changed colors, new content, and additional features. Construction appeared in the sequel. The player can now rebuild the necropolis. Buildings open access to various powers, talents, and improvements. As you progress, you can also unlock 20 unique servants. The battles got bigger. Similarities of sieges of settlements appeared. The main goal of the anti-hero is to conquer the whole world, restore his kingdom, and return the souls stolen by his opponents. The game costs $16.99 and earned $16,000. Miniland Adventure. Shape this beautiful world the way you want it. Explore the fantastic environment, collect all kinds of resources, build objects, fight, farm, and do much more. In this rather unusual game, you will have very extensive opportunities at your disposal, and the only restriction here is only eating from time to time, but otherwise there are no prohibitions. At the same time, you have to start with a small plot of land, which can gradually be improved and expanded. And thanks to constant work, very soon you will have a large and beautiful house, a well-groomed farm, and more. In addition, every day you can get a lot of biome tiles, which are used at your discretion. So for example, you can build a green forest, an endless desert, snowy locations, highlands, a shroud, and much more, because this prologue is a free game. The Great War, Western Front, is a strategy war game developed by Shrapnel Games. Players are invited to immerse themselves in the atmosphere of the First World War and take part in the battles on the Western Front. In the Great War, Western Front, players can choose the side of the conflict, control their troops, develop tactics and strategies to defeat the enemy. The game offers several game modes, including campaign, scenarios, and multiplayer mode, where players can fight each other. The graphics of the game are made in a realistic style, which helps players to fully immerse themselves in the atmosphere of the First World War. The game also offers a realistic sound design that creates an atmosphere of combat and weapons. This is a game that forces players to make tough decisions and apply their skills and tactical knowledge to win the battle. If you love strategy games and historical simulations, then The Great War, Western Front is a great choice for you. The game costs $34.99 and earned $340,000. Time Wasters is a space action game with a top-down perspective and elements of a roguelike, in which you have to explore the expanses of the universe by controlling a starship. You can upgrade your equipment and arm yourself with a huge variety of guns to destroy many enemies on your way. Levels require you to collect time and space cubes to replenish your timeline and turn time in your favor. Space contains many mysterious artifacts that allow you to manipulate the flow of time and change space. For example, in Time Wasters, you can figure out possible options for events or reduce the time to perform a certain action. There are several captains to choose from. Each hero specializes in individual tactics and fights with unique weapons. All guns can be converted into super weapons. Gradually, new branches of modernization of both weapons and the shuttle are opening up. With the help of various boosts, you can get a short-term advantage over enemies. Gold is needed in order to buy new upgrades. After every 10 destroyed waves of enemies, you will need to fight the so-called elite of the aliens. you will need to protect entire planets and continents from enemy attacks. Many gameplay elements are randomly generated. The game costs $2.99 and earned $34,000. Deceive Inc. Stealth action with charismatic characters and bright styling. The heroes of the game are undercover agents with their own unique abilities and an individual set of weapons. Hans can slow enemies down, Detective Cavalier scans the area for hiding opponents, and Madame Mew possesses other bodies. At Deceive Inc., you can change the equipment and weapons of the character depending on the chosen tactics. There are a number of common gadgets available to all protagonists: drones, turrets, shields, and many more. With the help of a gadget called Mimic, you can take on the appearance of any object in the location. If equipped with a trampoline gadget, you can jump high, climbing to the upper floors of buildings. Various tasks vary depending on the map, but the global goal always does not change. It is necessary to penetrate well-defended estates. To do this, you will need to hide from enemies, turn the valves, pull the levers, get secret access to the vaults, and much more. On the maps you can find intels, important data that facilitates the passage and gives hints. Intellers make it possible to break open doors, get codes for safes where bonuses and upgrades are located. The gameplay is a first-person shooter. Actions develop in America and around the world, where the characters meet various charismatic characters. Contains references to iconic noir and detective stories. The game costs $19.99 and earned $320,000. Storyteller is an unusual puzzle game in which the player has to create his own stories on a given topic and convey its essence in the most correct way. The player will be given characters and several scenes to choose from, with the help of which he will have to create his own vision of the described situation. Sometimes what is happening can take unexpected turns if you accidentally replace the hero. The plot is created and written by the user at his discretion, and the game only evaluates the success of the transfer of the specified topic or genre. Dragons, vampires, scandals, murders. There is room for all that and more. Everything is up to the imagination of the player, who arranges the figures of the work in the windows. Many backgrounds that predetermine the main essence of the scene, such as a temple for a wedding or a tombstone for mourning, make it possible to marry everyone in a row or even write entire detective stories. For some, the drama will be the betrayal of a lover, and for another, love to the grave, and after the loneliness from the death of the second half. Even a story with 3 windows can have about a dozen variations. Storyteller is perfect for those who like a varied and measured gameplay. There is something to laugh at and be surprised. It is especially fun to go through such puzzles in a company where everyone can provide their own version of the plot, striking with their imagination. The game costs $14.99 and earned $280,000. Above Snakes. Prologue is a Wild West survival adventure game that invites you to go to the vastness of 1833 and try to survive. You will need to take on the role of an ordinary adventurer who is ready to challenge nature and prove his superiority. Yes, there will be many tests and you have to start from the very beginning, but this should not spoil your adventure. The advantage of the adventure is complete freedom of action, which offers a variety of activities. Building housing, improving existing buildings, organizing a farm, hunting animals, collecting resources and fighting bandits, zombies, ghosts, and even aliens. Another interesting advantage will be the ability to create a generation with your own hands. Initially, several sectors will be available that you can safely use, and as soon as all this is done, it will be time to choose the next sectors, and which ones you will use depends solely on your desires. Therefore, only you will determine when exactly you will face big problems, at first or already at the stage of maximum prosperity. By the way, each sector will have its own personal generation, which will remain unpredictable. Therefore, in one case it will become your advantage, and in the other it will add a lot of problems to you. Because this prologue is a free game. Sifu is an action-adventure game featuring a complex combat system. The main character's name is Sifu. He is a young kung fu student on the path of revenge. His family died and the protagonist is eager to find the killers of his relatives. He has no allies at all. Only one mysterious pendant helps on his way. Sifu events develop within one day. A complex combat system is presented with the ability to use the environment for your own purposes. You will need to adapt to every fight and situation. You can pick up various items and drop weapons from defeated enemies. Positioning plays a huge role in survival. The player is able to throw knives, use makeshift weapons, smash windows with their heads, and much more. By defeating opponents, access to new skills and abilities opens up, allowing you to master the forbidden techniques of Master Pak Mei. A total of 150 are available to unlock. You can carry out combinations using various combinations of strikes. The protagonist is able to block enemy attacks, dodge blows, and parry attacks. A successful parry can deal massive damage to opponents. You can also drop adversaries from heights and ledges. In story dialogues, you can choose answers. Some of them can lead to the fact that the conflict is resolved without a fight. A unique mechanic is the death of the protagonist. After death, the protagonist is reborn from the checkpoint, but at the same time ages for several years. After each completed level, access to a special detective board opens, which saves information about the world or characters. Terra Nil is a sandbox city builder that uses pixel art with lots of terrain detail. A feature of the project is that the player needs to build a settlement from scratch, without using factories and other buildings that can pollute the air, water spaces, and land, achieving for his creation the title of the most ecological place to live. Starting with a randomly generated terrain, the player receives initial capital for the construction of the first residential buildings and various industries to provide residents with work. An important aspect of the successful development of the city is financial well-being, which is achieved through foreign trade and the opening of all kinds of shops where people can leave the money they earn, which will go to the treasury for further upgrades. The available territories are quite large. This allows you to build a city of many thousands, in which it is necessary to properly arrange the infrastructure for the convenience of all inhabitants. Also, the game has several types of natural resources that need to be mined for the further development of controlled land. The project does not have any ending. You can build and improve the standard of living for a long period of time. The complexity of this process is added by random events in the form of natural disasters, which happen quite often. They disrupt work and can stop development, forcing the player to quickly respond to their occurrence and look for ways to reduce damage. The game costs $24.99 and has earned $500,000. The solo adventure dredge invites the player to travel through the depths and gradually uncover their secrets while fishing in parallel. As you progress, the main character will have to improve his ship and carefully explore the bottom in order to get long-buried secrets. The event takes place in the middle of a mysterious archipelago of islands, where many mysteries and dangers are hidden. The protagonist begins his journey by taking the helm of a fishing trawler and setting sail. He wants to get treasures or get emotions and memories for life. He will have to study the bottom of the surrounding waters, learning more about what is hidden under tons of water. You can sell your catch and trade with the locals and complete their errands to earn rewards and unlock secondary items. To begin with, the player will need to travel through the archipelago of Great and Lesser Salt, constantly going out to sea. The gameplay includes over 125 marine life with a variety of appearance, behavior, and value in the market. The player's actions will determine how the story progresses and what events and opportunities are unlocked. Dangers are everywhere and they will need to be passed in order not to die or lose valuable things. The game costs $24.99 and earned $740,000. Have a Nice Death tells about the difficult daily life of Death, who has no time to rest. The counts of new souls are endless, and even a lot of henchmen can't cope with the paperwork assigned to them. The player will have to help the Reaper deal with the reason for the appearance of overtime above the norm and prove to everyone that it is not worth disturbing him once again. The everyday life of a bony creature with a scythe in modern times is relatively monotonous. A coffee machine is a real salvation for him because she can prepare a high-quality, invigorating drink, without which the morning becomes simply unbearable. One of his days, sitting in his office counting, Death discovers that the number of arriving souls has increased greatly, although so far there are no signs of wars on the surface. As it turned out, it was demons and spirits who decided to have fun by killing mortals. The Reaper, angry with such negligence, goes to talk with them, and with those who do not understand speech, deal with the help of physical force, and teach a good beating so that they return to the dungeons again. The protagonist, Havenistes, has no health bar, as he cannot die. For each level, he will receive a special currency and acquired knowledge to develop his skills and enhance his abilities. In battle, The hero can use the usual scythe and 30 more types of weapons, such as chains, sickles, etc. They can help deal with particularly strong bosses and make it easier to maneuver. The game costs $24.99 and has earned $3 million. Under the name The Last Spell hides a hybrid of a roguelike and tactical RPG with an isometric view. The action takes place in a dark fantasy Middle Ages. A cataclysm happened in the world because of the last war and the participation of sorcerers in it. A fog appeared, turning people into hellish creatures. At night, they emerge from the purple haze and attack the remnants of the survivors. There are almost no territories free from this misfortune. The surviving magicians are trying to cast a spell that can destroy all magic and put an end to the horrors that are happening. While they gather their last strength, the last spell player needs to protect the wizards in the last outpost of humanity. The gameplay is divided into two phases. During the day, warriors restore health and walk around the neighborhood in search of loot. The player at this time rebuilds the bastion, erecting walls and towers, and at the same time setting traps. With the advent of dusk, crowds of monsters begin to attack the citadel from all sides. The battles take place in turn-based mode. The undead try to take in quantity. Heroes can hit, cut, stun, and set fire to opponents. There are magic attacks that deal area damage. For killing opponents, they gain experience, raise levels, unlock new perks and skills in the skill tree. You can put rings, helmets, armor on your fighters, and give them different weapons in their hands. The project has a high replayability due to the randomness. The game randomly generates characters, maps, equipment, and even waves of opponents. In addition to battles with ordinary enemies, there are also battles with bosses. The game costs $24.99 and has earned $6 million. Resident Evil 4 Remake is a full-fledged remake of the cult fourth part, which is rightfully considered one of the best in the series. The developers took into account the criticism of fans after the release of the remake of the third game and did not stray far from the roots, sticking to the course taken on Resident Evil 2. The plot has not undergone drastic changes, however. Some storylines have been added that were not in the original. The arcs of secondary characters have expanded, and of course, management has improved, and the graphic component has been significantly updated. At the center of the story is Leon Kennedy, who arrives in the Spanish village of Pueblo to rescue the president's daughter, Ashley. Here he encounters the Los Iluminados religious cult and their leader, Lord Sadler. The latter controls the villagers with the help of the parasite Las Plagas, which is why they unquestioningly obey their leader. Resident Evil 4 Remake departs from the usual plot about the living dead, becoming closer to the original concept of zombies that appeared on the islands of Haiti. As legends say, Haitian shamans used voodoo magic to control people like puppets. During the passage of Resident Evil 4 Remake, you will visit 3 vast locations: a village, a castle, and an island. Each of the 3 chapters features unique monsters and bosses. In the village you have to fight with the inhabitants of the village and their head Vitores Mendez. The castle is the family estate of the short lord Ramon Salazar, under whose leadership are the fanatics of the cult. The island offers to fight real military men and Leon's former partner Jack Krauser, who has injected himself with a strain of the Plaga virus. Some characters from past games have returned, such as Albert Wesker and Ada Wong, but they pursue their own goals. The game costs $59.99 and has earned $32 million. Barotrauma is a 2D platform game. According to the plot, it is entrusted to your courageous shoulders to assume the post of captain of a real submarine. But you will manage it not on Earth, but on one of Jupiter's satellites called Europa, in the depths of which an underground ocean spreads. The surface of the satellite is shrouded in an impenetrable radiation layer, which is why human colonies are forced to hide under a layer of ice that protects the local waters. The project was originally focused on multi-user interaction, during which each player will be assigned their own role, given their own work order, directly dependent on the profession received. But the developers also took care of the single-player mode, in which the function of real players will be replaced by a well-functioning artificial intelligence, completely written from scratch. There are several modes in the game, but they all have one common goal: to survive, because the waters of an alien satellite are not only fraught with the danger of a lack of oxygen, but were also chosen by nightmarish monsters whose diet does not include algae. The submarine, in addition to its main function of movement, is equipped with the possibility of pumping, starting from its internal component, motors, radars, etc. and ending with defense capability, which allows you to choose the skin and install the latest weapons, and having accumulated a sufficient amount of currency, you will even be able to design your own model. The game costs $34.99 and has earned $21 million. Thanks to Stepan for supporting this release. This is such a rich and interesting top. Write in the comments which game you liked more.